Hey everyone, my name is Simon and welcome to this piano tutorial for beginners. If you are a beginner with absolutely zero experience, this video is for you. So, the first thing that you want to learn about the piano is that the notes on the piano run from low in the left to high on the right. So check that out, listen to the sound. It's low in the left to high in the right. Now, the second thing that you want to learn about the piano is that there is a repeating pattern across the keyboard. And the pattern goes like this. A group of 2 black notes followed by a space. A group of 3 black notes followed by a space. A 2 group, a 3 group, a 2 group, a 3 group, a 2 group, 3 group, 2 group, 3 group, 2 group, 3 group, and so on. Now, the third thing that you're going to learn about the piano is where the C note is. The C note is found on the left of all the 2 groups. So here's what I mean. You find a 2 group and you take the note that's directly on the left, and that's your C note right here. Okay, so here's another 2 group. The note on the left that's directly on the left, that's the C note. Okay, and another one here. There's another C note, another C note, another C note, and another C note. That's the third thing you want to know. The fourth thing that you want to know about learning the piano is that the notes on the piano follow the alphabetical order. So if you have C right here, once again it's a 2 group, and you take the note on the left, that's the C note. And every subsequent note will follow the alphabetical order. So this is C, D, E, F, G. So once you hit G, you will not go to H. There's no H in music. So after G, you will go back to A. So it's A, B, and C. So 2 things. The notes follow the alphabetical order, and after G, you will not go to H. You will return to A. So one more time. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So with that, you should be able to identify any white key at the piano. So let's go a few rounds. See if we can identify those notes. So for example, can you tell me what note is this? So pause the video and think about it. Now if you're ready, the answer is G. So how did I get there? I will go from my first point of reference, the nearest C. So either this C or this C. So if I'm coming from this C, I will count upwards. So C, D, E, F, and then G. If I were to count backwards, right? So C, B, A, and before A, you will go to G. So let's try one more. What note is this? Pause the video and take some time to think about it. Now, the answer is F. So how did I get there? I will go to the nearest C and count up, right? So C, D, E, F. If I were counting from the C that's above, it would be C, B, A, G, F. So let's try one last one. Let's try, say, this. So pause the video, take some time to think about it. And when you're ready, the answer is E. So how did I get there? I go to the nearest C and I count C, D, and E. So I hope you got all that, and let's move on. The fifth thing that you want to know about learning the piano is how to read some basic musical notation. When you look at the score, you'll see all kinds of notes. And these notes come in different shapes. So for example, if you see a note with this particular shape, which is just a circle, it tells you to play the note for 4 counts. So what does 4 counts mean? 4 counts means to play a note and hold it and count to 4 and let go. So it goes like this. For example, if I wanted to play a C note for 4 counts, it will go like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, up. So that's 4 counts. Now, if you see this symbol, this is a circle, but now with a tail. This symbol tells you to play the note for 2 counts. So 2 counts goes like this. 1, 2, up. And last of all, if you see a symbol that is a circle that's shaded with a tail, that tells you that the note is to be played for 1 count. So one count just goes like this. 1 up. So at this point of time, some of you might be asking the question, how fast are these counts? So for example, if you have 4 counts, do you play it this fast? 1, 2, 3, 4, up. Or do you play it this fast? 1, 2, 3, 4, up. So the answer is, it depends on the tempo marking. The tempo marking is found at the beginning of a score and is usually defined by a numerical value. For example, 90 BPM, which stands for 90 beats per minute. So 90 beats per minute sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and up. So the smaller the number on the tempo marking, the slower it will be. And the bigger the number on the tempo marking, the faster it will be. Now let's try and see whether we understood all of that. Here's an example of a music score with different notes in there of different durations. Can you tell me how many counts is this note worth? Pause the video and take some time to think about it. The answer is 2 counts. And it's 2 counts because it's made up of a circle with a tail. Now let's go on to the next note. Can you tell me how many counts is this note? Now pause the video. So the answer is 4 counts. And this is 4 counts because it's made up of a circle without any tail and it's not shaded. Now let's go on to the next note. Can you tell me how many counts is this note? Pause the video, take some time to think about it. Now the answer is 1 count. And why is this 1 count? It's because it's made up of a shaded circle with a tail. So I hope you got all the answers correct. And by the way, these notes, they have technical names. The 4 counts is called semi-brief. The 2 counts is called minim. The 1 count is called a crotchet. These are the terms they use in the UK. In the US, the term for the 4 counts is a whole note. The term for the 2 counts is called a half note. And the term for the 1 count is called a quarter note. Now, the next thing you want to know about music notation is this thing called a stave. A stave is made up of 5 lines, and we label the lines from the bottom, with the bottom line being number 1, and the next up being line 2, line 3, line 4, and the top line being line 5. So we also label the spaces in between the lines from the bottom as well. So the first space is called space 1, followed by space 2, space 3, and the highest space is called space 4. Now, the next thing you want to know about musical notation is this thing called a treble clef. The treble clef is often associated with the right hand for a piano player. So for example, if you see a score which starts off with a treble clef, it means that this line of music is meant to be played by your right hand. Not always, but as a beginner, you can take it to be that way for a while. So the first note that you will learn on the treble clef is this note right here. And this is a middle C. So this middle C is written on a line below the stave. And middle C refers to the C note that is closest to the center of the keyboard. Let's take a step back. You recall that there were many C notes across the keyboard right here, and they can be found on the left of the 2 group. So that's C and another C on the left of the 2 group, another C on the left of the 2 group. So there are many C's. And the middle C refers to the one that is closest to the center of the keyboard, which is right here. And it happens to be the 4th C. So 1, 2, 3, and the number 4, the 4th C. So when you see this on a score, right, a treble clef and this note is an instruction for you to play this note right here. Okay? Now, recall also that when you see a circle without any tail or without the circle being shaded in, it tells you that the note is for 4 counts. So when you look at this note, it tells you to play it for 4 counts, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, up. Now, have a look at this score. Notice how the notes climb up the stave in a line, space, line, space, line, space kind of pattern. And notice also that it doesn't skip lines or skip spaces. So it goes from line 1 to space 1 to line 2 to space 2 and so on. It doesn't go from, like, say, line 1 to space 2 to line 3 to line 5. It doesn't skip the lines and the spaces like that. Notice how it climbs up the stave by step. And the next thing you want to know is that as the notes climb up the stave by step, each subsequent note is the next letter in the alphabetical order. So, for example, you start with C, the next note is D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So let me play these notes for you. This note right here is C, this note right here is D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, you might be wondering at this point of time, what if you wanted to write this note right here, the next note, A? How would you write it? Because there's no more lines. So when that happens, what you do is you would add your own line like this. So you add your own line, and that's A, and that's B, and that's C, and so on. So likewise, on the lower side of the stave, if you wanted to write notes lower than what the stave allows, you will have to add your own lines. For example, the lowest note that can be written on a stave without adding lines is D. And if you wanted to go lower, you would have to add your own line. And if you wanted to go any more than that, that's B, that's A, G, and so on. So these lines that you add on top and below of the stave to extend the line are called ledger lines. But do note, when you're adding ledger lines, you still have to follow the line space sequence, right, as you climb up the stave. Now, if you're trying to figure out any note that you see on a score, and as a beginner, if you cannot remember all those notes that we went through, all you have to remember is that first point of reference, your middle C. As long as you remember where your middle C is, you can count up or down to whatever note you're trying to figure out that is. Now let's try an example. Say you're trying to figure out this note right here, and you don't know what it is. The first step would be to remember where middle C is here, and then you would count your way up to where that is. So that's C, D, E, F, G, and that is the note A. So I hope you got that. Let's try another one. See if you can figure this out on your own. So try this note. Pause the video, take some time to figure it out. Now the answer is D. So let's do it together. So the first step would be to remember where C is, middle C is, and we're going to count our way up, right? So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and finally D. Now at this point of time, some of you might be thinking, this is really troublesome. For any note I'm trying to figure out, I have to count all the way from C, and if it's a note that's very far from C, it's really troublesome to count. So at this point of time, I want to give you 4 more points of references to help you get to the note in question faster. Now take a look at this. These are the notes in the spaces, in space 1, space 2, space 3, space 4. And they happen to spell out the notes F, A, C, E, phase. So all you have to remember is to remember phase in the space. The notes in the spaces spell out the word F, A, C, E. So this should give you more points of reference to count from as a beginner, rather than counting from C every single time. So now you got 5 points of reference where you can count from to figure out whatever note you're trying to figure out. So now let's practice some note reading. If, for example, I'm trying to figure out what this note is, the first step is to recall my 5 points of reference. Previously, you had only the middle C as your point of reference. Now you have 4 more, the F, A, C, E. So I will recall my 5 points of reference. I will find the points of reference that are closest to the note that I'm trying to figure out. In this case, it's F and A. So let's take F. And you know that this note is just one note above F. So it's the next alphabet after F. And that would be G. So the answer is G. I hope you got that. Let's try another one. So can you tell me what note is this? See if you can figure it out yourself. So pause the video. Now the answer is F. So let me go through with you. First step, recall your 5 points of reference, and the closest point of reference is your E. And you notice that this note is higher than your E by 1 step, so that would be F. So let's try one last one. See if you can figure out this. Pause the video. So the answer is A. So once again, step 1, recall your 5 points of reference, and the closest point of reference is your E. So you will count up from E, F, G, and your answer is A. So I hope you got all that. Now let's look at an actual music score. This is a music score with different notes of differing durations or different time values. Durations and time value is the same thing. So let's go through the notes one by one. The first note happens to be one of your point of references. So this is actually middle C itself. So that's middle C, and it's for 2 counts. And you know that it's 2 counts because it's a circle with a tail, and the circle is not shaded. If it's shaded, it's 1 count. So with not shaded, it's 2 counts. Now, let's go on to the next note. So to figure out this note, we would have to recall our 5 points of reference, which is your middle C and your face in the space. And the closest point of reference is your F note. And you can see that this note is 1 step below F. So that will be the alphabet that's before F, and that's E. So we know that it's an E note, and it's for 2 counts because it's a circle and a tail without any shading in the circle. Now the next note, if we're trying to figure out what note it is, we have to recall again our 5 points of reference, middle C and face in the space. And the closest point of reference is F. So this note is just 1 note above F, and it is G. And this is for 4 counts because this is a circle, right, without any tail or without any shading. Okay, on to our next note. Now if you look at the next note, you will notice that this note is just 1 step below the previous note, which we figured out was G. So 1 note just below G is F. It's just the letter before G. So we know that this is an F note, and this is 1 count. Why is 1 count? It's because it's a shaded circle with a tail. Now if you look at the next 3 notes, you will also see that these are all 1 count notes because they are all shaded circles with a tail. And the next note after the F note, you notice, is just 1 step below F. So that's just 1 alphabet before F, and that's E. And the next note, same thing, 1 step below E, and that will be letter D. And the next note, you notice that it's just 1 step above letter D, so that is E. And the last note, it happens to be your point of reference, which is middle C, and it's for 4 counts. And you know that it's 4 counts because it's just a circle without any tail. So I hope that was all clear. If you're not sure about it, watch this part of the video a few more times. And now I'm going to demonstrate how does this sound. So it goes for 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how you interpret this score. We have 2 more things to cover before we end off today's lesson with a song. The next thing I want to talk about is some of you might have noticed and are wondering about these lines that you see on the score and what do they mean. So these lines are called bar lines. And to understand bar lines, you first need to understand bars. So music is often, if not always, organized into bars. And each bar of music consists of the same number of counts. So this is a bar, this is a bar, this is a bar, this is a bar. And you will notice that each bar consists of 4 counts consistently in this particular song. And the bar lines just encase the bars, or the bar lines just separate the music into bars. So that's all the bar lines are. Which brings me to my next point. Some of you may also have noticed this set of numbers in front of the score. So what do they mean? These are time signatures. These time signatures define how many counts are there in a bar. So as a beginner, you should know 3 different time signatures. One of them is 4-4, one of them is 3-4, and the next is 2-4. So 4-4 just means that there are 4 counts in the bar. And 3-4 just means there are 3 counts every bar. And 2-4 means there are 2 counts every bar. You might notice that I use the words counts and beats interchangeably. They are not the same thing, technically speaking, but for now, to simplify things, we will take them as the same thing. Now we've come to the last part of our lesson today, and we're going to play a song. So this is the score for Beethoven's Symphony No. 9. Take a look at it, pause the video, and see if you can figure out the notes. So here I have the letter names of the notes written for you above the score. And I'm going to go through the song with you. So the song starts with E note, and you will play it with your 3rd finger, like that. So E with your 3rd finger. So the first bar goes E, E, F, G, and that goes like that. E, E, F, G. So try that one more time. E, E, F, G. Okay, so now the second bar, it goes G, F, E, D. So one more time. G, F, E, D. Now as you're following my playing, I want you to pay attention to what fingers you're using. Your hand position should be in a 5-note position, starting with the thumb on C. So it should be in this particular position over here. Okay, so one more time. The first 2 bars, right? It starts on E on the 3rd finger. So it goes E, E, F, G, G, F, E, D. Now let's move on to the 3rd bar. So the 3rd bar starts with a C note, and you will play it with your thumb. So it goes C, C, D, E. Okay, so one more time. C, C, D, E. And let's go on to 4th bar. So the 4th bar starts with a E note. So it goes E, D, E. Let's try the 3rd and the 4th bar together. It goes like that. C, C, D, E, E, D, D. So now let's try that first line, the whole of the first line. It goes E, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C, C, D, E, E, D, D. So I hope you got that. Now let's go on to the second line. The second line is exactly the same as the first line for the first 3 bars. So it still goes E, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C, C, D, E. Now, the only difference is that last bar. The last bar is just made up of 3 notes. It's D, C, C, right? So it's D, C, C. Okay, so I'm going to play the whole of the second line for you. It goes like that. E, E, F, G, G, F, C, C, D, E, D, C, C. The whole song goes like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have come to the end of the lesson for today. I hope that you have learned something, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope to see you in the next lesson video. Thank you. Bye.